What is going on, guys? I am very upset that I have to make this video right now. Right now I'm about to leave to go pick up a new trans for the RB2040. I'll explain on the way there. So basically yesterday, my slave cylinder went out on the way home and I had to replace it. Now when that happened, I was trying to go into gear so I can get into a parking lot so I can like walk to AutoZone to get a new slave. It didn't let me go in gear all the way. I would get it to like mostly in gear to where the car would still move, but it wouldn't go any further. And that was kind of working for a little bit. I could get the car moving, but eventually it would just grind and not go in gear at all. So thankfully I made it into the parking lot and it was right next to an AutoZone, which was like perfect. The best place to break down is right next to an auto parts store. So we changed the slave, we bled it and everything was fine. Then I noticed every time I would go into second, it would grind. And I did not like that, so I thought maybe we need to bleed it more, so I did. Nope, trans is going. Happening in second mainly, and it happens in third as well, and it happened in first a couple times. But fourth and fifth have been perfect. So that's why we are swapping the trans out. I got so lucky to find one that's pretty close to me, so we're picking that up right now. So now we're back home, and here's the trans. I'll pull it out for you guys. So here's the trans in all her glory. I don't know if this is a short shifter or not. It doesn't look like one. It looks like the OEM one. But it does feel a lot better than the one that's in my car right now. So before we put this in, I'm going to clean it up, paint it, just because why not? And we have to swap this speed sensor to the KA one that's on my trans that's in the car already. So I'm not looking forward to doing this, but I have to. So today is the next day. I went and got all the things that I'm going to need. I got gear oil, motor oil, coolant, and oil filter, as well as I got this to paint the trans. So first things first is to get this trans here all cleaned up. So our trans is now painted. It looks pretty good. It's still weird to me to paint the trans. I guess it makes sense. You know, you want to make sure that it's not leaking, and it's very easy to tell if the trans is clean. But at the same time, it's like, it's under the car. You're never going to see it. Like, it's just weird. But it doesn't take that long to do, so why not? So that's actually all I'm going to do tonight. Tomorrow we are going to be pulling the motor and everything out of the 240. So tomorrow is where the fun really begins. Today's the day we swap the trans out, so we got to pull the motor. So let's back the car up into the garage so we can get started. So now the car is in the air, so now we have to take our bash bar off, our bumper, our removable core support, and then the motor. And we have to drain the fluids for all that. So we have the front end off now, so the oil cooler can actually stay because I have an oil filter relocation plate that's mounted to the car that the oil cooler is going to. So the oil cooler actually isn't connected to the motor. So now what we're going to do is we're going to unbolt the intercooler piping, and then we are going to unbolt these bolts for the core support and pull that out, and then we'll drain the radiator after. So this car has had 2 desert trips since I got this AEM setup. I have the filter as well as the dry flow filter cover, and I haven't cleaned the filter. This was just taking off the cover. I've cleaned the cover, just like kind of get the dirt off of it. Take that off. You can see I also have a turbo guard. You can see it's spotless in there. That is amazing. AEM, you just got a lifelong customer. I will always be running that filter with that cover on every car that I get from now on. If you haven't seen any of the desert videos, definitely check them out. I have a playlist of the desert videos in the corner. We do not go easy on this motor. We are on the limiter all the time, so air is constantly getting sucked through, and this filter and that cover have kept zero dirt from getting into the turbo. And that is exactly what I need. I had like a cheap filter on before and dirt got in, and I didn't like that. So we have literally my entire front end just chilling here. Don't worry about this. I don't know if anyone's gonna say anything, but I have this stuff on the bottom, so the radiator actually isn't sitting on the ground. I got my bumper, my bash bar, my intercooler / core support, and here is the car. I haven't seen it like this in a long time. So at this point there isn't a whole lot that needs to be done. We just have to undo the whole harness. We have to take the downpipe off, take the throttle cable out, disconnect the fuel lines, disconnect the oil lines to the filter, and then disconnect the motor mounts and the trans mount, and I think that's it. The heart of the 240 is out. Everything we had to take off over here. Looks like we're parting the car out. So now we just have to take the trans off, throw the new one on, and then put everything back. So now that the motor is out and the trans is off, there's a few things that I want to do to the car before we put everything back together. I want to paint this, all this, and this, because it just looks bad, even though you never see those because they are covered by my bash bar. I do want to paint them just to prevent any rust from happening. As you can tell, we already got surface rust on this one here. So motor is in, the mounts are tight, the trans mount is in. Now we have to put the harness on, we have to put the intercooler piping and everything on the front end back. We have to do the drive shaft, and then once we get all that, we're gonna start the car, take it for a spin, and see if it's grinding. Fingers crossed we're all good. So now we have everything put back together except the front end with the intercooler. We got coolant, oil, gear oil, everything in it, so we're gonna run the car, make sure everything sounds good, probably bleed the coolant too. And then if everything's good, then we'll throw the front end back on, and then we will go take it for a drive. I was gonna carry it. My 240 is now a car again. Everything's back together. We're about to take it out and see if it's grinding. I'm really hoping that we fixed it. And I'm not sure yet, but I might get this trans rebuilt just so I have a spare trans. Alright, here we go. Oh, nice. It would have grinded right there. Oh, and I can downshift now. I couldn't before. So I'm very happy to report that the car does not grind going into second gear anymore, so I'm very, very happy with that. However, I do have a boost leak now, and I'm pretty sure I know what it is. One of the clamps on the intercooler piping was stripped, so it wouldn't tighten all the way, so I think that's what happened. So gonna order a new clamp, and then that'll show up on Mondays. So I'm very happy to be done. I can't wait to go take a shower. But I do want to say thank you to Frank for offering to help me, because we did this whole thing in just 12 hours. We took the whole old motor out, took the trans off, cleaned everything up, put the new trans on, put it in, tested it, everything is perfect. So I'm very, very happy about that. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if you did, comment down below, and then hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.